Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be with you again. Do you ever feel like the big lead generator platforms are gobbling up all the leads, driving up costs for the homeowner, for you, everybody else? Is just frustrating because we see their ads all the time. When someone searches for contractor near me or HVAC near me, you see a lot of results in Google that are things like Angie's, Thumbtack, so many others that have just been crazy in terms of how much they can continue to spend to be able to just go get all the leads. And then what happens is you have homeowners that's where they go to get their leads. And then we have to go buy them, or you might be spending money on those leads and they can convert well, they can. But it ends up just ultimately driving up costs for everybody. And what we'd like to do is we'd rather have homeowners just go directly to the contractor, meaning you, to be able to get the help they need. Wouldn't that be nice? And there is a way. There are two big ways that we want to be able to unpack how to get that done today. And it's actually something that this question came from one of my clients inside of my private client Facebook group. And I thought, let's unpack a little bit about how we can help you solve some of this thing. So get this rolling. So let's show you, I'll actually just show you the message here and see if this sounds familiar. We'll give you a little bit of a glimpse here. So he's like, hey, I wish we could educate the public. How do you search for contractors? I just see inundated with random companies. You pay per lead. Maybe you guys are getting these too, right? You have a lot of these pay per lead companies that are just coming after you saying, hey, we have all the leads. You just have to pay for them. And they can be kind of expensive. And really, it just would be nice if they just come straight to us. And so we want to unpack really the solution and to how to get that done. So if that sounds interesting, hang on for just a minute. I've got a little bit of a couple of strategies here that'll help us solve for this. So to get that going, let's walk through a few things. Okay, so we're going to get into like how do we beat these lead generators, but let's unpack for just a second why it's happening. And I mean, if we're trying to ultimately educate homeowners why they don't need to go there and how they can just come to us instead. There's a couple of big factors that are driving this up. Number one, why did the lead generators get all the leads? Is because really it's trust. Homeowners are looking for a source they can trust. They're looking for contractors that they feel have been vetted by somebody, and this third party like an Angie or a Thumbtack or wherever, that's where they feel like, okay, if I can go to that place, then presumably someone can vouch for them. Someone has taken some steps to be able to say, these guys are legit, I can trust them. And so that's where they're going. So it's number one problem we got to overcome is trust or confidence. If we can help instill greater trust or confidence in you or in your brand or your company, then they're going to be more likely to just go to you directly rather than feel the need to be able to go somewhere else. So people just are outsourcing their trust, and we've got to be able to help attack that, to be able to, again, get under why that works. You think about how so often when we see other people looking for, they're also outsourcing their trust in different Facebook groups or communities. We see posts all the time. Someone's, hey, they do in search of posts, ISO posts. They're like, hey, does anybody have someone they recommend for fill in the blank? Because they're just trying to just shortcut having to do their own research. They're just trying to just get the quick and easy. All right, hey, somebody else is willing to speak for them. So, okay, let me go get that trusted set. So again, how can you become the trusted one that people refer? That's another way you can start to pop up more and get more of those leads directly rather than having to feel like you're able to go and source them from third-party platforms that want to charge you. So again, trust is the big issue that we have to overcome. So how do we solve that? A couple things. We're going to go into really just thinking about fundamentally why that happens. So first thing is going to be just, okay, we've got to be able to build trust. We got a couple of different options. So number one, we got to build our brand. So that is one that people can trust. And there's a couple of different ways that are pretty accessible to do it. No, I'm not going to tell you to go do a billboard. Don't do that. And not if you want direct response anyway. Do a billboard once you're doing multi seven figures. And frankly, if you're just trying to recruit, then that's probably the best thing that most contractors get when it comes to using billboards is really just, it helps them get recruiting to get crews, not so much actually land projects. quick side rant. But anyway, so this is, I mean, that's really, there are some ways we can help you build your brand by doing it. Again, and in this group, we talk about ways to get this creatively done with really on a lean budget or no budget at all. So some of the ways you can build your brand to get that started. Okay. It's going to be consistent, quality content. Okay, where are you posting it? I mean, I've been on a little bit of a rant lately. If you've been watching some of the different posts or content inside this group and other things on my socials, is that everybody does before and afters, or at least those that are posting it all. The worst thing you can do is just never post. But then at least one step above that is at least show before and afters. We have such a great opportunity with what we do to be able to show before and afters. It's really a strong visual, compelling argument as to why someone should hire you, why they can trust you. But because so many people can, and that's really become the norm, well, how do you really stand out in a world where everybody's doing before and afters and do what I call the during? Okay. So the during is what happens in between the before and after. We know that a nice after picture can cover up a lot of mistakes. It's not going to show. If you zoom out enough, you won't be able to see all the little details that just weren't quite done the right way. And you're certainly not going to see anything that's underneath a wall or underneath or behind, some piping, or they're going to see all the other stuff that was when someone else cuts a corner or doesn't do it the right way or doesn't bring it up to code and do those kinds of things. If you're able to, in your content, showcase the during and how you really do things differently that don't just get hidden by zooming out or covered up by the wall or equipment, that's how you're going to stand out and build the trust that we're looking to get to help you have people call you versus somebody else. Nobody does this. Hardly anybody does this, but it's the biggest game changer you can make when it comes to content you create. So that's one area. Okay. Now other ways, and you have, there's other things with like yard signs. And it's more of a branding play. And again, not something that is always going to be a direct, immediate response, but at least you can become someone that people have heard of and at least start to want to investigate more. So yard signs, I mean, so I like to talk about some things that are offline. Okay. So you could do other ways with just visibility in your community. I like to think of just another digital one is going to be just how you show up in different Facebook groups or communities. Are you inside of those? Are you showing up to help? Or are you just showing up to take? Don't just show up to take. If all you ever do inside these communities is say calls today, calls today, calls today, I mean, do some of that where it's allowed, but if that's the only time you ever show up, it becomes noisy, you become ignored. So find opportunities when people are talking about or needing help with questions they've got about their project or about something that's happening in their house, and give some opinions, give them some advice, give them something that's useful so they can start to, again, know who you are and again, start to build the trust that, again, doesn't exist. That's part of how you start to build your brand. So again, handful of different things, some online, some offline, most of which are free. Some maybe you spend a little bit, but nothing super crazy. Okay. So there's a couple of ways that we want to think about, again, tactically, how to perform or how to start building out your brand. Okay, now that's the first piece of this. Let's talk about then the next step we can tackle when it comes to, okay, we've at least gotten a few things that are setting us apart. How else what do we do next? Once you've started to do this, generate consistent quality content as you get in the rhythm of it, as it becomes something that people come to know you for, and whether that's stuff that you're having on your social media, your Google profile, your website, anywhere and everywhere that people might discover you or find out who you are, what you do. Now you'll start to see some content performance better than others. Great. Use that as your proving ground to then decide, okay, now that I've gotten some momentum, now I'm ready to start to turn up the volume and use top performers as ads. We've talked about in this group in the past and we've got a training and a 6-week series we did a while back on before you spend money on ads, make sure you've got at least these 6 things in place. If you want a copy of that and need help finding it, let me know. Just and we'll get you the full course. But one of the things we really touched on is that, again, there's so much you can do to grow your business and get profitable without having to spend money on ads. But before you do, make sure you have a couple of key things in place so you're not just burning money and setting it on fire. Not my favorite thing for me or for you. So don't do that. This is one of those strategies. Okay, one small piece of that entire game plan is, okay, you can create content for free, see what performs really well, and then harness that as something that you know people are engaging, they like, they're commenting, they're sharing, they're reaching out to you, those kinds of things. Those are going to be the ones we want to then turn into running ads. You've got an advantage here. Okay. You can be human. You can compete with those big league aggregators that are faceless. They're just a logo of Thumbtack, a logo of Angie's, or they're a logo of this big, massive franchise that is just a big behemoth that people just know as, and in our area, there's an example, there's one, again, no shade on them. This is just the difference between where they are versus where a lot of who I help is. They're just big deconstruction and nobody knows who works there. They just know they see their massive logos on the side of these huge buildings in and around town. Use that to your advantage. Become and show in your content, be the face, be the voice, be someone that people can connect with and want to know and work with, someone they feel is approachable versus a big, huge, massive brand that is spending tons and tons of money on all the direct mailers and all the video and all the TV advertising and all the billboards and everything else that they're doing. You've got a way to be able to be different and leverage who you are. So with inside your ads, leverage you and what you have. It's going to make a big difference in how and why people will start to trust you versus anybody else. Now, all of these things that we've talked about, okay, these are just how we're going to start to build trust, but it can and should be something that is a part of things that we should be doing on a consistent basis, like email and text nurture campaigns. Using referral programs. Using affiliate or joint venture deals. That's it. I'll skip the letter. There we go. Deals with other contractors. Who else do you know? Who else have you structured strategic partnerships with so you're able to get referrals or help send projects and customers back and forth? I mean, there's a lot of these other things that we can go into that, again, don't require ad spend, but things we can help build out for your business that are going to help you start to get a lot of leads, a lot of momentum, again, without having to go to lead aggregators. Of course, what you could do, I mean, it was a little bit long on today, but I wanted to at least give you a couple of different ideas and give you some hope, give you some things we can tactically help you implement that don't require you having to go to those lead aggregators if that's not what you want to do. Of course, if you don't want to do those other tactics or strategies, you can just keep buying leads. That can work. It's fine. But if that's something you want to get out of the business or doing or out of the dependence of doing, then there is a path. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not an oncoming train. All right. So if you need some help with any of this stuff, you know what to do. Drop us a comment. We're happy to brainstorm a specific plan for your business based on your current situation, what your capacity is, what your goals are. But I wanted to at least give you a couple of things. Hey, if you're feeling like you're getting just snowed in by all these other big spenders, deep pockets, competitors, lead aggregator platforms, all those different things, you don't have to. There's ways we can combat those, beat them, and play the game differently, since in ways that we know that they can't. So we will see you next week, but let's go kick some butt.